Today, we're going to explore some of the most powerful tools in your marketing toolkit: value propositions, positioning, and pricing strategy. These concepts are absolutely critical because they determine how customers perceive your offering and, ultimately, whether they'll choose you over the competition. Let's start with a fundamental question. What exactly is a value proposition? At its core, a value proposition is based on the difference between the benefits a customer receives and the cost they incur. We can break this down into two key components. First, there's total customer benefit, which includes all the functional, psychological, and monetary benefits customers expect from your product, service, and brand image. Then there's total customer cost, which encompasses not just the price tag, but all the functional, psychological, and monetary costs of evaluating, obtaining, using, and even disposing of your offering. Think about this for a moment. When you buy a premium laptop, you're not just paying for the hardware. You're also investing time in research, dealing with the mental stress of making the right choice, and eventually figuring out how to recycle it responsibly. The companies that win are those that maximize benefits while minimizing these total costs. This is why customer value analysis is so important. It reveals your strengths and weaknesses relative to competitors, helping you understand where you truly stand in the customer's mind. Now let's talk about positioning, which is really the art of occupying a distinctive place in your target market's mind. One of the most critical frameworks here is understanding points of parity versus points of difference. Points of difference, or PODs, are those attributes or benefits that consumers strongly associate with your brand, positively evaluate, and believe they cannot find to the same extent with competitors. These need to meet three criteria. They must be desirable to consumers, deliverable by your company, and truly differentiating from competition. On the flip side, points of parity, or POPs, are attributes that may not be unique to your brand, but are absolutely necessary to compete. There are three types you need to know. Category POPs are the basic requirements to be considered legitimate in your category. If you're a smartphone, you need a touchscreen. Correlational POPs help overcome potential negative associations. And competitive POPs are designed to negate competitors' points of difference. Here's what's fascinating. Sometimes your POD can create a correlational POP problem. For example, if you position yourself as low cost, customers might assume lower quality. Your job is to address that concern directly. Let me give you a real-world example. Think about credit cards. American Express, Visa, and MasterCard all have category POPs like widespread acceptance and fraud protection. But American Express has worked hard to establish PODs around prestige and premium rewards, while also using competitive POPs to reassure customers about acceptance, which historically was their weakness compared to Visa and MasterCard. Moving to pricing strategy, let's discuss the six-step process for setting prices. This is where art meets science. Step 1 is defining your pricing objective. Are you maximizing short-term profit? Pursuing market penetration with aggressive pricing? Using market skimming to capture early adopters willing to pay premium prices? Or establishing quality leadership? Your objective shapes everything else. Step 2 is determining demand, and this is where understanding price elasticity becomes crucial. Price elasticity measures the degree to which a change in price leads to a change in quantity sold. With elastic demand, a small price decrease can lead to a significant increase in sales volume. With inelastic demand, price changes have minimal impact on quantity sold. Generally, demand is less elastic when there are few substitutes, when buyers don't readily notice higher prices, when buyers are slow to change habits, or when they believe higher prices are justified by quality or inflation. Steps 3 and 4 involve estimating your costs and analyzing competitors. You need to understand your fixed costs, variable costs, and how they combine into total costs. Many companies also leverage the experience curve, where unit costs fall as cumulative production increases due to learning effects and economies of scale. Meanwhile, you must know what competitors are charging and be ready to respond to their moves. Step 5 is selecting a pricing method, and you have several options. Markup pricing simply adds a standard markup to costs. Target return pricing aims for a specific ROI. But here's where it gets really interesting. Value-based pricing sets prices according to customer perceptions of value rather than just costs. This is economic value to customer pricing, and it's based on the buyer's total assessment, including product performance, channel deliverables, warranty quality, and customer support. The most sophisticated companies use this approach because it aligns price with the value customers actually receive. Finally, let's talk about a powerful but often controversial concept: price discrimination. This occurs when you sell a product or service at two or more prices that don't reflect proportional differences in costs. Third-degree price discrimination is the most common form, and you see it everywhere. Customer segment pricing offers different prices to different groups, like students or seniors. Time pricing varies by season, day, or hour. Think about movie matinees versus evening shows, or Uber's surge pricing. Speaking of which, surge pricing is a perfect modern example of dynamic pricing in action. It responds to real-time demand, increasing prices when demand spikes and decreasing them when it drops. Airlines have been doing this for decades, but technology now allows companies like Uber to adjust prices minute by minute. The key question for marketers is, how do you implement price discrimination fairly and transparently without alienating customers? Here's what I want you to remember. Positioning and pricing are intimately connected. Your positioning determines how much pricing power you have. If you've successfully established strong points of difference and created genuine value in customers' minds, you can command premium prices. Conversely, weak positioning forces you to compete primarily on price, which erodes profitability and brand equity. As you work on your assignments and case studies, always ask yourself, what value am I really creating? How does my offering compare to alternatives on dimensions customers care about? And does my pricing strategy reinforce or undermine my positioning? Get these fundamentals right, and you'll have a solid foundation for marketing success.